How's it going, guys? My name is Kyler, and today I'm joined with Marcus.
Hey guys, my name is Marcus, and I'm gonna be sharing my wish list for Call of Duty Ghost.
Alright, so we decided that we would have ourselves kind of like a Call of Duty wishlist debate. Because I know, Marcus, you did a. Not so much like a wish list, but it was like part of your video, like, I don't know, a few months ago.
Yeah, that was
And
like back in August. I did sort of like a wish list slash what I want in Call of Duty Ghosts, and I mean, I didn't explain everything I exactly wanted in the game, but I mean, I hit a few points.
Yep, and like on top of that, there's been a whole lot more information. We have extinctions just dropped. We got to get into all that. But either way, I thought we would start off talking just more so about like balancing. How do you kind of like how Call of Duty plays? Do you like the way that Black Ops 2 is, where guns are I don't want to say like low, but they almost feel like they're Nerf guns. Like every single bullet I shoot is just like hit marker after hit marker, and it.
If the game wasn't so connection based instead of like skill based, I guess. If actually, let's take that back. If all Call of Duties were skill based instead of connection based, I guess all of them would run like exactly how I wanted it. But because I know for a fact if I'm in a lobby and I'm playing against a guy that's like rank 16 and he's using whatever gun, I'm pretty sure I could kill him. But it's being that it's so connection based nowadays that it's just it seems impossible. But I
Mhm.
mean, if they were to fix if like I remember you talking about something about dedicated servers now,
We'll get into
if
that.
they had something to where everybody had the exact same connection, because I know nowadays the connection is just scattered, and if they had all the exact same connection, I mean, I guess that would help, but I mean, I don't really see that helping all that much,
Yeah,
or that actually coming. I don't see that actually coming to life in Call of Duty Ghost.
All right. Now, I feel like the way that it was done right, which I didn't like at first, but in MW3, all the guns were overpowered. I'd rather have a gun that one shots, like, excuse me, have all the guns that one shot, rather than have all the guns that, like, I don't know, 20 shot. It just feels like it speeds up gameplay a whole lot better, it makes the maps flow easier, and it all around makes for a whole lot better game. Would you agree, or do you like the Black Ops 2?
Well, I like the style of like I guess I think the bullet damage I guess in Black Ops 2 is I don't even know how to explain it, but it's sometimes as if like if you were to shoot me in my foot, I would die somehow, which I'm not too sure why that like I don't know, I'm not sure how that happens, but I mean I guess if
All right, so I'll kind of help you out here. The reason why that happens is because they added like this new function into Black Ops 2 specifically, where it's something with the engine, the way that they updated it. They added more hitboxes, and certain hitboxes now. Say normally we'd shoot someone in the leg, and it'd be a one shot, but now it's counting as like a kneecap instead of a leg shot. Like certain parts, there's more. What do they call it? Not tessellations, but I wish I could remember the exact thing. I guess hitbox is all I can think of right now. But that kind of culminates to make it just feel like it's a whole lot more Nerf gun feel. Like I don't know how to exactly explain that. So, like I don't know. It just feels like it makes the game slower. But continue on.
But like, okay, so I understand if you were to get shot in the chest, you would die. But
Hmm.
I mean, the whole thing with like getting shot in the foot doesn't make sense. But going back to MW3, you have the guns like the ACR, you
Hmm.
have the MK14, which is a one-shot machine.
I'm out
You
of controller
have,
though.
I think MP7. It's up on the overpowered list. I guess you could put it on that list.
Hmm.
And then of course, the new thing is using LMGs. Using
Hmm.
LMGs is kind of like a mainstream now. And I think if they were to give the guns a certain amount of like strength and power, and they set that limit and they didn't change it throughout the game, because I know the beginning of MW3, I knew LMGs were garbage, but now that Infinity Ward, I guess, has gone back and tweaked most of the guns,
Hmm.
it just seems like they've tweaked the LMGs, and then now everybody's towards the LMG side. But I guess if they were to set each certain gun a set or certain strength and left it throughout the whole game, I guess that would make it a little bit better.
So what you're kind of saying is you want it to be basically set from the day it's launched to basically the death of the game. So you don't want them to tweak the weapons, kind of so I guess you can learn the balancing of the weapons, which makes a little bit of sense. But I could also see what if we say we were back in MW2 times and people had just discovered the nuke tube, and say theoretically Infinity War was like, yeah, let's patch the nuke tubes. Not like they actually did that, but they actually worked on the nuke tubes and they changed the way the game played. Would you rather still have the nuke tubes there so that all right, this is how the game will always be, or do you want them to actually change things?
Well, MW2, I mean, the game is practically dead now because it's like Hacker City, I guess you could say, over there. But, I mean, changing things back in MW2 now wouldn't matter much to me because I really don't play it that much anymore,
What
I
if it was
guess.
current, though? What if that was the game that was out right now?
Noob tubes I can live with, but if it's the fact that if they shoot the noob tube 20 or 30 feet behind me and I still die, it's just that fact. And then it's the fact that the guy is like level 4 using it. And the fact that I died to level 4 is pretty embarrassing. So, I mean, I guess tweaking it now wouldn't be that bad, but I mean, I wouldn't really have a problem with it.
But I'm just saying, like, MW2 is kind of like an example. Say Black Ops 2. So, kind of how you were saying is, you want certain things to be tweaked. Things that are just way overpowered. But you want to keep, say, I don't know, ACR from MW2. Like, that would be fine for you?
No, ACR. Well, the overpowered gun, I guess, we're going to use an analogy here. So, the ACR from WW3, I would say equals the. I would either say the AK or the TAR-21 from MW2. And now, if they were to balance each one of those guns to where I wouldn't say it equals every other gun, but if it wasn't too overpowered to that, I mean, it's mainstream, I guess. I don't know.
So, I guess it kind of goes back to, like I said, the way that I like guns to play is I'd rather have every gun be really overpowered than have those few standout guns. So that if you die, say, to an ACR, you can pick up a UMP and have basically a gun that's just as good. And I feel like they did that wrong in Black Ops 2. But you kind of, from what I'm hearing, you're kind of going back to that same thing like I was talking about, where you'd rather have guns all kind of on the same level, but all have them pretty powerful.
I mean, I would think one way to determine, guess to make the game more balanced,
Hmm.
which I'm pretty sure other people wouldn't agree, and it would make sense to other people. But I mean, just set every gun to the exact same accuracy, range, fire rate, strength, all that, and then you just let them have at it. And I mean, I guess the real way to determine who's better is just like, I guess, who kills the other person. I mean, so if you're having like a gun battle, the person that wins is obviously better because maybe I don't even know, but like, because everything's set the same, so he doesn't have an advantage in anything. So I guess, because people always talk about, yeah, he's not good, but somehow he killed me. But I guess if they were to level everything out exactly the same and then just let him have at it, I guess that's a better way to determine it.
But when you say that, like, you say, all right, I want, say, like, the KSG to have the same amount of range as, like, a sniper. I feel like the way they should have done it, or at least they should do it in Ghost, is they should kind of play off how guns work in real life. Say the SMG, it's, not going to be amazing at long range, but it will still be able to take, like, out the ACR guy if you're good enough. Like, you don't want to have it, I don't know, say, I guess, like, the range of a KSG and just be way underpowered coming up, like, a long-range gunfight against an ACR. But you still want to have that chance, but then also, say, the ACR, if you get into a close gun battle with the UMP, you still want to have that chance too. You just don't want everything to be 100, 100, 100, 100. like exactly the same. You kind of
Yeah,
want them
bruh.
to play off. Okay, so I think we got weapons going now. So I guess the next thing that we can talk about is maps, and I feel like at least for me, where the
Ooh.
maps would probably be the best is somewhere in the middle from I don't know, somewhere in the middle from MW2 and MW3. Those are still what I feel like is some of the best maps they've ever made. And I don't want the spawn trap aspect of it, even though you'll never be able to get away from that in like a close quarters game. But if they could fix something to where the maps are still good, so I don't know, Terminal's a really good example of this. Awesome map. It there's not much spawn trapping on it. It happens occasionally. And then on top of that, though, it's big enough to where it still plays like it's a small map. So how do you kind of feel about that? Do you like the close quarters where you get spawn trapped? Do you like, I don't know, derailed?
Okay, so say they spawn the whole team within, say, a let's see, maybe like a 20 by 20 foot box. Say there's an imaginary box, and they say you're spawning in this box, and the other team's going to spawn in the box on the other side of the map. I feel as if that person were to get inside of that box, then they should honestly they should flip the spawns around. So say one team is just overpowering the other, they all move into the spawn. I feel they should just keep spawning the same people there. I feel as if they should flip the spawns in a way, but in a close quarters map, that's not going to work out all that well because it is close quarters, and there is a slim chance that, say, one person is, in a different place. There's a slim chance that you will have the other team spawn behind you. And I guess that will cause a lot of chaos, because people, I mean, I'm pretty sure all people hate when, like, other enemies spawn behind them. So I guess long-range maps spawns should be flipped. Short, close-range maps, I guess they could be flipped, but it's got to be flipped, I guess, in the correct way.
All right, so they actually talked about this when Black Ops 2 came out, and they had some type of a system which obviously didn't work, but it was, I don't know, a starting base for it. So the way they would have this is they had this kind of notion of failed spawns. And a failed spawn would kind of fit into either, say 5 seconds off of spawn, you were dead, or like you spawn and someone's looking at you, something like that, and they would calculate that, and that's how the spawns would flip. And I felt like they had that, on just hearing it, it sounds good, but they didn't implement that right. And if they do something like that where it actually works right, say you get spawn trapped, and somehow they can change that to where you're not going to spawn 5 feet away and again, because that happens so many times on maps, just over and over. Think of Nuketown. If you have a team that's playing right, and I don't know, they're not pushing spawn past, say, I guess the stairways on both of those spawns, like in the back gardens.
Uh,
If they're both staying there, they can just spawn trap for days. And I wish that they would have something implemented to where, all right, they got spawn trap, spawn them across the map, and actually have it work. It works after that about, I don't know, 5 straight deaths, but if they would make that a little bit quicker, I think that they would have the spawns down, and on top of that, if they had the maps actually flowing pretty well. So
yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, I really like what they did with that. And one of the other things is, how do you how do I want to say this? Like, do you want different levels for maps? And what I mean by that is, do you like maps that are flat? Do you like maps that, I don't know, are very vertical, or just kind of, gradually? How do you?
Well, first things first, I wish that they took out every snowy map because I know there's not
You're
a snowy
thinking
map in
right to
Black Ops
derail.
2.
You're thinking right to
I'm
derail.
thinking derailed into outpost from MW3, and it seems that
That was a good
if
map.
I like derailed was good for search and destroy.
And demo. Awesome map.
I'll give demolition and derailed. I guess I'll give that one. But outpost, I feel outpost was good for maybe domination. No, no, okay, because it's a large map, so the spawns and domination wouldn't be too bad. But I mean, snowy maps, they just have that kind of feel that like really no one likes. But I guess terminals that like, did I say terminals?
Yeah, you said terminal is what you said. You didn't say two.
Terminal.
Yeah, you didn't say multiple.
Okay, I was gonna refer to the map terminal, but I was gonna say the maps like terminal. I guess is kind of like
Where there's different
the
levels.
it's kind of like the standard. That's as low as the map should go. If the map is if it's I guess I like different altitudes of maps like
High rise is a
favela.
good one. Yeah,
Favela
favela.
Favela, it's you got buildings. I like buildings.
Love that map.
But if you have like an open map like Wasteland, I'm not a too big of a fan from Wasteland. But
Hmm.
also if you have like open maps, kind of like what's an open map from MW3? Kind of like Bakara. Bakara was not too bad, but I mean, just the openness is just
Hmm.
it's not the right feel. But I mean, I guess
I
I
felt like
guess if they just added more maps to where it's it just feels like you have to play more cautiously, I guess,
hmm.
in the map, I guess.
So you mentioned the fact of snowy maps. I don't know if you've seen kind of like, I guess the first trailer where it's like the Eminem music in the background, and it's kind of, I guess, one of the first clips that you see, and he's running on that snowy map, and you can kind of see him running into like a trench, and that kind of got me a little bit excited because it showed that there's different levels to the snowy map. What I feel like they did wrong with Derailed is it was only assault, so like who knows, Tar 21, ACR, or snipers with thermal, and that's kind of what everyone would use. Every now and then you'd run into that guy with the UMP, but the majority of it was, those two sets right there. And I feel like if you have a map that even if it's big and it's wide open, but if you have different levels to it, you can make a big map play like it's a small map if you have kind of cover and corners, and I don't know, it kind of feels like they did a little upgrade from Derailed, I guess, with that map, and it seems like it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and what was it? Okay, so say if you have a map that's, I guess when I guess you could have like different levels of map in a sense to where each, I guess, I wouldn't say like obstacles, but I guess I like maps with, of course, buildings, but like
Hmm.
Wide open maps get me a lot of times because there's really nowhere to, I guess, take cover from,
Hmm.
and that's one of like the big downfalls that maps like Wasteland and maps like what's another map? Derail doesn't really have that much cover because it's such a large map. But I guess if you have a map like High Rise, you have all the cover there.
That's a big map too, yeah.
You have lots of cover, and then it's also in a sense kind of open because there's it's because yeah, it is a kind of a big map because it does have the cover and it is kind of open. So I guess if they have maps more like that instead of maps like I've said plenty of times already, instead of like Wasteland, I guess
Hmm.
that would have the better replayability to the game.
So you mentioned high rise, and what I liked about high rise is you had, I guess, three like ways that where I guess a sniper or an assault rifle would sit. So you kind of had that part over by the barrel on top of the like roof over there, and then
Hmm.
you also had kind of like the middle section and the one that's underneath where the helicopter is, and that's where kind of a lot of the people would, like I said, the snipers and the ACRs and everything would sit. And then you also had, say, underground. Even though a lot of people didn't use that, that was a really good use of the map, and creating kind of different pattern flows, which would kind of help for something like CTF if you play that, where you can pull it and go underneath ground. And like on top of that, you also had cover every now and then. Like you had that, I don't know, where B or A, wherever that place is, right in the middle of the map, which was a good cover for, say, SMG that's like going to be sitting at that window waiting for them to actually come out of their spawn, and it plays really good and actually works with all different types of classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Got anything else to add?
have anything? No, I think I've covered everything I expect for maps in Call of Duty Ghosts.
All right. So one of the other cool things about the maps is what is it called? A destructible environment. I was gonna say Levolution from Battlefield, but destructible environment. So I don't know if you know what that is. Do you? Where I can throw a C4 and I blow up a wall. If you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen part of that, but I mean, I guess car bombs. I guess to me that would fit into that little, that little charade. I guess, but I mean, the fact that you could toss a C4 on a window in MW3 and the window not break, that kind of just like that was kind of like mind blowing a little bit. I don't know where they came up with like the mechanics for that, what they were thinking first of all, and then I mean how that even makes sense, But I guess if they were to add that to Call of Duty Ghosts, it would have that more of a realistic slash, I guess makes sense. I don't even know how to explain that, but I mean, it's realistic because I mean,
it actually breaks like it
yeah,
should.
it actually breaks, and then it actually adds that feel to the game that makes you feel like you're actually in the game.
Now, one of the things I like about that system is it's been in Battlefield for quite a while now, and it actually changes up the map quite a bit. So you think, all right, say day one you play Ghost. You've never played the map anymore, like before. You're probably gonna play it like a Call of Duty player would play, where it's like, all right, these are the traffic patterns. I'm gonna run through the doorway. When in reality, now I'm not sure how much the destructible environment is. I'm not sure if it's on the level of Battlefield where I could take down a building. I don't think it is, but I've seen people blow up walls. So say, what am I thinking of? All right, let's take once again Terminal as an example. You have Terminal, and you kind of know where that place is where you have the barrel on top of the roof in Terminal. Now, right when you're looking, I guess, towards the bathroom, out of that doorway there's to your right, there's that wall. Now, what if someone was, I don't know, going to plant the bomb, and you threw a C4 on that wall to your right and blew that up and then got to shoot them? That's what I kind of like, is it's going to mix up the way that people actually play the game. It's going to make people think twice before they're actually going for the objective, and I don't know, it's going to make the game feel newer for longer than it actually, is. It's going to, I don't know, extend the life of it a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah, and also going back to the Terminal, say if you were to shoot that barrel on top, why the whole building wouldn't explode,
be cool.
I guess.
See, like, that would be awesome. Yep.
Yeah, that would definitely add replayability, because I'm pretty sure people like doing that. I mean, that seems like fun. So that adds replayability, it adds realism, and then it overall makes the game, a lot better to play and easier to play, because I mean, like you said, I guess, shooting through a wall wouldn't work. So, I mean, I guess if you were able to slap a C4 on the wall, blow it up, and then actually get that kill, I mean, it'd add more fun to the game.
Yep. And one of the other cool things, they have this in Battlefield too. Say you blow up that fuel tank, and, like, bits and pieces, like the metal, like, circular thing, and not just, like, the whole circular thing by itself, but say it was, like, cut in half, cut in thirds, that would fall, like, in certain parts of the map. Now, it'd probably be scripted and always be in the same spot, but that would create cover. So you'd have to kind of watch those, like, sites right there and make sure no one's actually sitting behind, say, the broken barrel. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of cool how it could actually change how a lot of the Call of Duty maps play and extend the life of the game.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to that?
Okay, this might be over the top, but say you were to play a map like, let's refer to Terminal again, because Terminal, I guess, has planes. So if, say you were able to destroy the planes, maybe that might be going over the top, but that is realistic, and that would add, if, I guess, I don't know if, Infinity Ward, I don't know if they're trying to make Call of Duty, like an arcade game, or they're trying to go for realism like Battlefield, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not
But,
sure.
I mean, if they wanted to go for realism, I guess it would make sense, to add, to add the fact that everything can explode if it is,
like
hit
it would
with,
in
like...
real life, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, if they were to do that, I mean, a lot of people would actually stick with the game.
Now, I don't know if you've heard of the KEM strike. Have you heard of that? The kind of...
I've not heard of no KM
So,
strike, no.
it's kind of like the Moab. Now, I've seen screenshots where people have said, alright, you can get it with 25 points, which is actually something different, because it used to be in MW3 it was only kills, so points now. or you can pick up kind of like these briefcases that are on the maps, and I forget what they're called. There's some kind of like mission assignments, and it's like, all right, kill 2 people while crouched, and you get a KEM strike. Now, the way that kind of works is once you call it in, you know how MW3 kind of, all goes red and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it actually changes into like a new map. So they kind of had this in like the trailer. So it was a sculpture, and I don't know, it almost, I guess, yeah, like the rockets hit the sculpture, and it changed. They say, the people who played it, it's like a brand new map. Now they say they don't like it as much as the like map before it's exploded, but it's still kind of cool. I feel like if they continue that with all the maps, so far what I've heard is the only map that can actually, be destroyed that much is that map, but maybe they're holding back. We always learn a bunch of stuff, day one that we haven't even heard a single thing about, and I'm hoping that it actually will do that for a bunch of other maps. Is that all you have to add for that? Or you got anything
Well,
else?
I guess I have one last thing that, because I don't know if this like happens in Battlefield, but like if it were like strictly to say one map that has the effect of like walls breaking and like buildings falling, if only one map had that effect and it had that that feature, I guess they would have to think twice about it and then like try to install that feature into every single map.
So, all the maps that I've seen so far, which has been like, well, more so multiple maps I've seen that can be destroyed, say like the wall. I don't know if you've seen kind of the top of the gas station fall over and it explodes and everything. Those can be destroyed. But what I'm talking about is the KEM strike actually being called in, and it'll destroy, say, yeah, it was like the size of kind of the spawn buildings inside a high-rise. Like, it will destroy those. It's pretty cool. Like, that map has, I guess, like an open market type thing, and it's kind of got a roof on it, and it's just like a big building, and all of it just collapses, and the walls that are broken is used as like brand new cover. It's actually really cool. That's what I was getting at with only one map so far.
And like one last thing about maps, if they were to somehow add, because I know some people don't play Homefront, but Homefront, you know how like Homefront, if you were to play Homefront, and then like you would play, I think it's I don't remember the name of the game mode, but I think it's like domination, and then so you play one round in one like area of the map, and then for like the next round you play in like a different
I
area.
get you. That's pretty cool. So let me explain that real quick. For those of you who haven't played Homefront, Homefront kind of starts off in, think of it as like a big rectangle, and you start off in the middle of the map as like a square. So there's like, I guess not necessarily rounds, but three chances to win, and it's like a tug of war match. So say like your team wins the first round, you're gonna push up into their second spot. So basically their spot. If you guys win, then that's it. Like if you guys get the second round also won on that, then you're good. But they can push back and go to the middle round and tie it up, and it's actually kind of cool how that works. So I get what you're saying. I don't know if that will happen with Ghost, just because I don't think they're gonna make that big of a map to actually do that. That'd be awesome if they had a game mode just designated for that. We've seen in the past where like the 1v1s, the 2v2s, and 3v3s, like that kind of playlist where they made maps like specific just for game modes, which would be really cool if they made that. I wish I could remember the name of that. I want to say Conquest, but I don't think it's Conquest because that's Battlefield. But yeah, that's a really cool idea. Anything else?
Yeah. No, I think I've given all my thoughts on the maps.
All right, so I have here kill streaks. So that's
Please no more support.
that's
Please.
okay. All right, I'm gonna go into that right now. All right, so they've announced so far that they have assault, which is normal. They have support, and I believe they said specialist. Don't quote me on that, but I think specialist is also in the game. So, with that though, Infinity Ward is like, they've come out and said, all right, we did screw up support. We see that we screwed up support, and we're gonna try and make it to where support is going to not be, I don't want to say lethal. Hopefully it's not lethal kill streaks, but it's more so what support means by the name. Like, hey, UAV. I loved advanced UAV. That was an awesome thing. Heck, even bringing advanced UAV down to, like, I don't know, it was at what, 12 kills? That's still quite a bit for an advanced UAV. Bring it down to, I don't know, say 7. That wouldn't sound bad. Advanced UAV for 7.
Well, it wasn't even 12 kills. It was actually 12 points because.
But, yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I mean, it wasn't the fact it was even a 12 kill streak. It was just 12 points / kills. I mean, you could cap a flag or plant the bomb, and that would still add to your kill streak. So, I mean, the fact that if they had the same kill streaks and you wiped out the fact that you don't lose your kill streak when you die, and then they bumped each, I guess, kill streak up by like 5 points. That would add it because because support, it obviously explains itself. You're supposed to support your team with those kill streaks, and now say you have like, let's use a reference of like sports teams. Okay, so say your team is down by a lot. I'm pretty sure it's gonna take more than just one little play or one little event that's gonna change the whole game. So the fact that it takes a little bit of skill just to get 18 kills in one game and get an EMP, they should move that to maybe 25, maybe 30 kills in a game. But then I guess you could keep the fact that your kill streaks don't reset. But I mean, if they would just bump everything up, that would add like the right touch to the game.
Alright, so I feel like the fact that the kill streaks don't reset, that's fine. But I kind of get what you're talking about. Bump them up to, I don't know, an extra 5 kills. Let's just say every single thing you get with, support is bumped up by 5 kills. But how about, I know an EMP right now, so it's 18 kills, or 18 points like you said, or 17 if you're running hardline. And then, say you bump that up to 5 more, so whether it be 23, and you, instead of having it be the normal 1 minute, you have it last a minute and a half. So you kind of make it harder to get, but then you also make the payoff bigger. I feel like that would be, a really cool way to actually run support, rather than having EMP after I've just gotten my Pavlo, and go through all that whole work to get 9 kills,
Yeah.
and just to have it destroyed by someone going, 18 kills, here you go. It's like, all right. But
And game modes like domination, I feel as if maybe, like I said, if they were to bump the kill streaks up, maybe if you would extend the game longer, because I know there's kids out there, and they're really not. I wouldn't say, because I know there's kids out there just play the game because just to play the game. So some kids may be like, hey, I can't get 30 kills in one game, so maybe you can expand, the length of the game, because I know. I mean, we play with the kids all the time, they're like, hey, you got pwned, and then they're like 1 and 19. But like, say you would expand the game,
sorry.
and then you were to, keep the non-resetting kill streaks. I guess all, age levels of the game, or all age levels, would be able to enjoy the game.
So you mentioned that, and I'll kind of explain some of that later on. It has to do with dedicated servers, and you talking about bumping up the amount of amount of like score, amount of time, whatever it may be, amount of caps that is required in CTF to whatever they want. And like I said, it goes to dedicated servers. So I'll explain some of that later when we get to dedicated servers, which might actually be next. So is that kind of all you have for support?
Support.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in support, because you know how in support you have just about 1 kill streak per, so like there's only, I think there's 2 kill streaks for, a 5-point streak, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
But then if you go to, 18, you have EMP, you have Juggernaut,
Yeah.
you have Escort Airdrop, and I think you have.
I think that's it. Is it?
I think that's it. And then I think, yeah. So if they were just to narrow that down to 1, so instead of I guess that would kind of limit like the variety and like the choices you have, but I guess it would make the game better. And and now you would be able to, I guess it would make the game even, because if you have like guys on the other team that can't play, so they run support, and then you have a guy on the otother team that gets an EMP, and then you have a guy that gets a juggernaut or whatever, and then you have a guy that gets an escort airdrop. I guess it kind of ruins the game in all. So I guess if you were to narrow it down to one kill streak and not the EMP, because if everybody on that other team gets to the EMP, I swear the game is going to be...
I get you.
And so I guess just narrowing it down. So I guess you could push like Sentry Gun. So Sentry Gun's a 5, so you could push that down to
that's assault, so... Yeah.
Sentry Gun. Okay, so never mind. Okay, so let's go...
Say Juggernaut. Say rather than having Juggernaut, because I feel like Juggernaut's actually a pretty OP one when people actually do use it. Say instead of having Juggernaut, I don't know, what is it, 18 now? Make it 1920. And like extend that. And then what you were talking about, escort airdrop? I don't know, limit that to 15. But don't give them any care packages that are better than 8 points. So they can have UAV, they can have what's the other one I'm trying to think of? SAM turret, just all those different ones there, even though they won't be inside a Ghost, but I'm like the equivalent of that. Like support kill streaks that aren't like ridiculous. Like you're not gonna call in an airdrop and then get a Juggernaut. It's like you just got 2 18-point kill streaks, and it's it can get a little bit OP right there at that time. But is that all you have for assault, or excuse me, support?
Yep.
Alright, so we can go into assault now. I feel like where assault was done best was actually the original Black Ops, and it wasn't called assault, but same like type of thing. I never really felt like I was being spawn trapped by, say, a Lone Star in Black Ops. I felt like, alright, Chopper Gunner, it's okay. It's not amazing, and what was it, 9 kills, I believe, to get a Chopper Gunner? It felt like they were just so much more balanced. I'm trying to think. Attack Dog, even Attack Dogs, like, I could sit there, I could, like, stand in a certain place where the dogs wouldn't get me, say, like, on top of the bed of Nuketown, which I actually don't even think that works anymore, but something like that. You could still get away from the dogs without having them go, an Olympic sprinter and then jump up in the air 10 feet and bite me. And I feel like they should really balance them out and actually make them pretty good, rather than having everything just be, alright, past 10 kills, it is nothing but air support. We're going to get you your Pavlo, which will probably still be in the game. That's been a staple since MW2, so I doubt they're going to get rid of Attack Helicopter and Pavlo. But say, I've seen this type of Chopper Gunner thing that they have, and it's actually kind of cool how they did this, because it's like you're actually flying it. You're inside the cockpit, and it's got that view. It's not like MW2 where you're just like on the gun and you get like the thermal view of it. You're actually inside of it, flying it. I don't know if you can fly it, but it, you still kind of get that feeling that you can fly it around. And yeah. I feel like, alright, if that's like an 18 kill streak, I'm just fine with that. But if that's like a 9, and then you have, say, on top of that, 10, you'll have like, I don't know, make it up, say a swarm for like 10 kills. It will definitely be pretty OP once, you get past that. Because, honestly, anyone can get a 10 kill streak if they really want to try. They can be one of the worst players out there and sit in the back behind like a barrel with an LMG and pick up a 10 kill streak. It's not insanely hard to do. And, if you get rewarded insane for it. Now, people that, I don't know, have a 20 kill streak, start rewarding them, a whole lot. I don't know why Call of Duty just never seems to use different numbers. They always seem to use, Moab 25, Nuke 25. What about 20, 21? Like, all those ones that they are forgotten, and they could really add in a whole, variety that would mix it up.
Yeah, and I was thinking about, like, if they... I guess... So I was thinking maybe you could have 5 kill streaks, and then, say, the amount of kills or score would range from 1 to 20. So, like, the 20... would be like the highest kill streak, which would say, let's just say dogs. So like the first kill streak, you could choose any kill streak from 1 to 20. Now, when you choose a second kill streak,
that's pretty cool.
it has to be from kill streaks 1 through 10. And then for like the third one, you have to choose from kill streaks 1 through 5. And then for what's it? The fourth one is 1 through 3, and then after that, I guess you'd have to choose
Yeah,
one.
you could still mix it up, but I get what you're saying. Like, have certain slots. Now, the thing with that though is it kind of restricts a bit, and what they're kind of marketing as is better than pick 10. You aren't restricted at all, so I'm not sure if they're gonna do that. I get what you're saying. I don't know. Kind of like how were talking about with the spawns in Black Ops 2. It sounds good as you're talking now, but what if you want to run, I don't know, say only UAV just for your team? Like you're a UAV guy. I like to run that every now and then, just pop it up. And I feel like if you're restricted and limited to that, then that will kind of mess it up. Maybe there's certain game modes that'd be kind of cool where it restricts you. We haven't heard about all the game modes. There's supposed to be 7 new game modes, and I think we've only heard about 4 or 5 new game modes. So there's still a couple out there that we haven't heard about. So that'd be kind of cool. And they can also add in community and more on later, which would be really cool to actually have in. You got anything else?
Yeah. No, I don't.
All right, so let's go ahead and dip into, I guess, game modes like I was just talking about. So, game modes, like I was saying, there's 7 different game modes, and I don't know how many of them you've actually seen. There's one called, I'm completely going to forget all the names of these, but gosh, I wish I could remember what it was. Was it, I'm not even going to try to remember, 'cause I could be here all day, but there's one where what is it? You have 2 teleporters, kind of like, yeah, I guess teleporters at each spawn. And the objective is to stay and guard yours so the enemy team can't jump in there and teleport back to theirs. And that's how you get points, is if you actually jump in theirs. That's actually a really cool one that I don't think I've seen from any other type of thing. Like Infected kind of came from Halo. We've had things from that. Now this is, pretty original right here. Maybe someone's going to say, oh, yeah,
That's pretty creative.
This was in this game over there or something. But there's a lot of cool games. And one of the ones I don't think I've seen gameplay of so far, but there's this game mode that they've talked about where you're limited on supplies. So as soon as I hear that, I think there's something like all or nothing. And you're limited on supplies, and every now and then supply crates drop. And the way that you kind of get this ammo is you have to fight for people or fight against people to get the ammo. And it actually makes, sounds like it's a really cool idea to actually play up against people. I'm trying to think. We have Cranked. I really want to know your opinion on Crank, because we have, you say you kill the guy, you have 30 seconds to get another kill. If you don't get another kill, you explode. But if you get the kill, you start feeling more like Usain Bolt. And then, more and more and more and more and more. And I'm not sure how much you can actually go if you're like sprinting across the map like a hacker. Like, I doubt it's going to get that bad. But say you're on like a 50 kill streak if you were, I guess, in the first place a hacker or really good. I don't really know how you feel about that, if you kind of like that, or if it kind of just feels like gimmicky, like kind of, I guess.
I would say it's gonna have to be a kind of, it's gonna have to be like a hands-on thing. Like I couldn't, just by watching it, I really couldn't determine whether I like it or not. It's kind of like one of those things that I'm gonna have to, witness it, I guess, myself, and actually play the game mode myself, because, I mean, there's a lot of things like that you see, around like on YouTube or whatnot, and then like say like a new game. Okay, you see the new game, and then you're like, oh yeah, this game looks like there's nothing wrong with it. But when you get the game,
Yeah, I get
it's like a bad lemon. Like everything's wrong with it, and it's just kind of one of those things that when they introduce you to like these new game modes, it's kind of like they're baiting you. So, there's kids like, oh, yeah, they got this game mode. I'm so going to get, Call of Duty Ghosts, but then they also, hit you with, like, all the bad things of the game, And I guess, like I said, it's going to be it's going to have to be one of those things to where I try it, firsthand before I can actually judge it.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way with Kill Confirmed in MW3. It seemed cool when they were playing on, like, the live stream before, a few days before, and then when I played it, I was like, yeah, I don't like this that much. So there's one last game mode that I can remember off the top of my head, and it's called, I actually know this one, Search and Rescue. And the way that works is, it's search and destroy. And it's, it plays just like that, but then it also has a twist of, like, Kill Confirmed. And I don't know why, but I feel like this is probably going to be, right now, my favorite one. It just kind of seems like it's really cool, and it's a cool idea. But your teammates drop tags, just like they would in Kill Confirmed. If you retrieve their tags, they come back. It's like dodgeball. If you catch the ball, they come back. And, it goes until the enemy team's dead. If they get the tags. It'd be kind of cool when they come back. I'm not sure how it's gonna go into say boosting because say 500 points to kill. There's boosting lobbies out there every now and then. They're definitely gonna have to be on the lookout for that. But it sounds pretty cool. You got anything else to add or talk about?
Well, talk about that game right there. So, have you seen enough to where? Okay, so say me and you were on different teams, and we're playing against each other, and I kill you. Am I able to collect your tag?
Yes, you can collect my tag so that my teammates can't collect my tag to get me back. And I believe you might get extra XP for that.
All right, okay, that sounds like a pretty good game.
I know, it sounds cool. I'm hoping it's cool.
Yeah, I'd have to, say. So far, that sounds like probably.
It's one of those game modes like you were just explaining. It sounds cool,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see how it actually plays out. All right, so I have, I think, last thing we have here to talk about, which I kind of feel like this is what. It wasn't like I wasn't going to get the game before I heard this, but this. Say if I couldn't even say if I was new because then I wouldn't know about this. But say I don't know if I was holding off and I didn't like it because connection. Well, they're not having the dedicated servers, and as a PC gamer and just somebody cares about a bunch of connection, that just makes me happy as can be. And do you know where dedicated servers are at all? Because I can kind of explain it to you. I don't know that you know.
I've heard about it. I've heard you sprinkle like that phrase around every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I still
cupcakes.
yeah, but I still don't. I'm still not understanding the reasoning for it.
All right, so I'll explain it. Say this. Say you live in, I don't know, Dakota. Let's just take North Dakota. And your friend lives all the way in Florida. Well, say your friend always hosts. And you're always kind of getting, like, that connection where it's Georgia. And you're running on whatever that would be, a 1 bar maybe a 2 bar. And it's really laggy for you. Now, the way that this could kind of help a little bit is there'll be servers normally in major cities. So say instead of Georgia they go like Austin, so it's a little bit closer. Maybe they could even go to Chicago or something like that, would make it even a bit closer from there. And you guys connect in like to the same server. So you're saying okay to the server, I'm here, your friend's saying okay I'm here, and then it's giving it back out. It's not like the normal matchmaking server will say there's some random guy, like I said, in Georgia hosting, where you're saying, okay, I'm here, your friend's saying I'm here, he's saying okay, giving it back out to you, and that's where the whole thing of host advantage comes from, because the guy in Georgia has the best thing, because he's hosting. Now, there's not going to be host advantage because, they're there. And one of the other things I like about this is, if they implement this, which they had this, I believe, I want to say they had this at the beginning of MW3. They might still have it. I just haven't tried it in a while, but it's called like server list or something. I wish I could remember what this is. Like we can actually search for servers. You can put on filters. So say you only want to find games with domination, and say you only want to have games with certain amount of ping. So say you only want to find a domination game where you would get a 4 bar. You could limit all the rest of them out that would give you a 3, 2, 1. Those wouldn't even exist anymore. And then you could go there. And the other thing is, it wouldn't be random. Because say you have a favorite server that's hosted in LA. And, you get good connection to it all the time. And that server's not going to go down. So, every single time you get on, you're like, oh, let's go hop on the LA server. And it's kind of cool how that works. Because what I've at least seen, because it's in a lot of games like Battlefield for PC, is people kind of build up, a community. I don't know how much it's going to work like that for Ghost, considering the max limit is only 18 players. But there's different things like that. Now, the other thing that you talked about earlier on was the fact of rules. So they've announced this already where you could rent a server. So you can basically pay a monthly fee from, depending on who it is, Microsoft. Say you're on Xbox, you're going to pay it from Microsoft, Activision, hosting their own on PlayStation 4. But say you have, the money and you want to buy a server, whatever, however much it is, you can go ahead and pay that. And then they've said, all right, you can, now they actually, let me take that back. They haven't said this, but I think this is what's going to happen, because it happens to almost every other first-person shooter that has kind of dedicated servers and filters and everything, where you can customize that. So say you only want Nuketown. You want the games to last an hour, you want hardcore only, you can set that all up. Now, like I said, they haven't announced that, but that's normally, I run into Battlefield servers like that all the time. That's all they do. And it's, sometimes fun to play, sometimes it's just annoying to get spawn trapped. But, I don't know, I feel like it will kind of extend the life of the game a little bit more, because you're not going to get so much mad at it as what you used to get with, say, connection and things like that. But, what do you think? If you need any more explaining. I think I went a little too deep in that, but just so that other people knew too.
I mean, being that, I'm really not gonna, like, say for instance, I want to play, since we both live in different states, and say like we both want to play together. I mean, the fact that we do now have dedicated servers will help a lot. I mean, because being that say I wanted to play with other friends, like say I wanted to play with Turdman. Well, Turdman lives all the way.
That is the guy's nickname. That is the guy's nickname.
So the guy lives in Germany.
We're gonna leave it at that.
So Turdman lives in Germany. So like where I don't even know where like what they put the server at.
Obviously, you're not gonna need a perfect connection, but say rather than you connecting to Christian's host and he's a host, you're connecting to London. So rather than getting a 1 bar, maybe you get a 2 bar. It's not meant to, it's still not a perfect world, and I don't know if they'll actually have that calculated, years from now, where you could actually get still good connection from that far around the world. Like that's far, is for, like all the way to Germany, and like something like our situation though is we normally, one will get a 4 bar, one will get a 3 bar. And it's normally me that could scoot over with a 3. But if we connect, sometimes every now and then we'll connect in like a certain place like LA, and it will work. Like we'll both get a 4 bar and it feels good, and we have a better gaming experience, and we can actually, have that good bullet damage that, keeps the game going. You're not getting as frustrated as you would, and I don't know, it feels like it just makes for a better game. That's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to fix, all the way around the world type situations.
Yeah, let's go with that,
But,
I mean, the fact that it's there, I guess, because I haven't experienced it, so I guess it's a big help, but, like I said, there's always things that can go wrong with it, so.
Alright, so you got anything else to talk about?
Nah.
I think that we've covered everything so far. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to talk about, though. I hope it doesn't turn into that thing, though, where it's Nuketown 24/7 with, I don't know, I doubt they'll be able to change the XP and just the way that XP actually works, and just insane. Like say you get 1,000 XP a kill, but even if it's not that, it's just normal XP and it's Nuketown 24/7. It would be still really easy to hit 10th prestige, and I hope that it's not like that, and that they limit it to some amount. Maybe I don't know how. Maybe they're not even ranked matches if they change the thing. Like you don't gain XP if they change, say, the amount of time or something. Like they can limit it to that, because you know how on zombies leaderboards for Black Ops 2, if you change, say, the difficulty of the zombies, you don't get on the leaderboards and things like that. Like you don't gain XP. That would be a cool way to play it and still not have, I don't know, the whole community at 10th prestige, and you just kind of feeling like, oh yeah, let's start a new account now. It's a month in. Like, I don't know. You can obviously play it the way that you want. Say, all right, I'm not playing in those servers, but still, it's, I don't know. I feel like down the road, everyone would be 10th prestige pretty early. But so like you said, you have nothing else to talk about. You good to go?
I think I'm good.
Got all your questions? Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please make sure to leave a like down below. And also make sure to check out Marcus's channel. It will be in the description. And you want to shout that out real quick if you... No?
No, I'm okay, I guess.
It's just Marcus the Prospect, which I'll leave it in the description. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please leave a like down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, guys. Bye.